You know, in the olden days, and by that I mean not even quite 100 years ago, there were traveling freak shows. Some of them were just amusing tricks or illusions, but some of them were a little bit sadder. People born with deformities, who this was the only way they could make a living, is to embrace their deformity and try and scare people. We have different sensibilities today. We still have haunted houses, but they're not with actual hunchbacks, just an example. But in Niagara Falls, we have something just as ghoulish going on right now. A company called Premier Exhibitions has a display called Bodies Revealed. Okay, fair enough, interesting enough. They're human bodies, actual human bodies preserved with the skin off. So they're not just models, they're actually human remains, cadavers that have been preserved. Now that's a little bit gross. It's not to everyone's taste. In my mind, it's of a piece with the freak show carnivals of a century ago. But there's a darker element to just the ghoulishness here. The company sourced its dead bodies from communist China, from the province of Dalian. And they specifically say they cannot warrant or guarantee that the bodies they are showing were not murdered prisoners, political prisoners, and religious dissidents of a group called the Falun Gong. In other words, these dead bodies on display for amusement by a private company like a traveling carnival of a century ago may actually be dead prisoners murdered by the Chinese government, in some cases to harvest their organs for the billion-dollar international organ trade. In Niagara Falls, a group of people had a protest, but the fact remains the exhibit continues. Now here's a few questions. Under Canadian law, you can't just bring a dead body into the country. In fact, handling human remains is not just a taboo, it's a criminal act if not done properly. You cannot bring a dead body back into Canada for burial, for example, without a death certificate, including the cause of death. Makes sense, you wouldn't want a murdered body coming in. You can bring in body parts for organ transplants, but obviously that doesn't apply here. And you can bring in bodies for medical students, other educational or public purposes. That's not a freak show done by a for-profit company touring the world. Now, this same ghoulish attraction has been banned from other jurisdictions. They were run out of Hawaii, for example. A court in Israel gave them the boot too. That's not surprising with what the Jews went through in the Holocaust and the use of human remains. It's a little bit touchier over there. But this company, Premier Exhibitions, continues to show its Bodies Revealed. Now, I say there are some things we can learn from actual human remains. I gave some real examples. It is an adult museum-style exhibition, even if it is grotesque and ghoulish. But what really turns me against this exhibition is their explicit acknowledgement that they cannot rule out, that they are showing the bodies of people murdered by the Communist Party of China, specifically for their beliefs, political or religious. In my view, this display has no place in a free country like Canada. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.